To this point, we've used several different classes that are built into the .NET framework. And one of the most common questions that I get is, how do I know what's available to me in the .NET framework? Well, again, Visual Studio provides you with lots of online help, and you can access that online help through the Help menu by selecting View Help. And this will bring up your web browser. And this is the top-level documentation for Visual Studio 2012. And you'll notice here a link to the .NET framework. And if you scroll down a little bit on this page, you'll find the link for the .NET framework class library. Now, this initial page that comes up is very handy because what it does is it lists out for you all of the different namespaces with brief descriptions of each of the namespaces, so you have a general sense of what each namespace contains. So for example, if you wanted to do some graphics, you might take a look at the system.drawing namespace, or if you want to do some database access, you might take a look at the system.data namespace. So one of the things that I recommend to all of my C# students when they first get started programming in .NET is to go to this .NET Framework Class Library page, take a look at this synopsis of all of the different namespaces and read the brief descriptions of each. And you can see that there are lots and lots of different namespaces here for you to work with. And once you have a general sense of what's in each namespace, as you get to the point of implementing a particular app, that will help you kind of narrow down and focus on the particular namespaces that might have pre-existing capabilities that would help you implement your app, and then you can go into a given namespace and investigate those features in more detail. So for example, if I go back up to the top here, and I say I need something from the system namespace, which contains the fundamental classes, then once you go to a particular namespace, it lists out all of the capabilities that are defined as part of that namespace. So for example, we used from the system namespace the console class, and if I then want to learn more about the console class, I can click console here, and it will bring up the console classes page, and I can see that this class contains various methods, properties, and events, and I can click these links to jump to the list of methods, the list of properties, and the list of events, and learn more information about all of the capabilities of the class. The other thing I tend to recommend when I'm first introducing classes to people in my training seminars is that as they begin using a class for the first time, they take a look at this overview page to see all the capabilities that are built into the class. This is similar to the synopsis page for the namespaces, except this is specific to a class, and it gives you a sense of all the capabilities that are built into the class. And for example, in this list of methods here, you'll notice that there's various icons that are showing up in this left-hand column. These tell you that this particular method is a public method, and if you hover over the S, that it's a static method as well. And up here in the properties table, if I hover over this icon, it indicates that it's a public property or a static member of the class. And for this little X icon, it also indicates that it's supported by the XNA framework. The XNA framework is used for game development in particular. So it is a good idea to familiarize yourself with the list of namespaces that are available to you in .NET. Again, here's the main .NET Framework class library page. When you then start to use a given namespace, it's probably a good idea to look at the complete set of things that are defined in the namespace so you have a general sense of what's there. And then as you use any one class in a given namespace, it's a good idea to take a look at the complete documentation for that class so that you can familiarize yourself with all of its capabilities. As we proceed into later lessons, we'll start to get into the concepts of inheritance and polymorphism. And once you start dealing with the relationships between classes, that also helps you more fully understand the capabilities of a given class.